Hello everybody. Today we will see the endoscopic thoracic sympathectomy or ETS, how it is done, what are the indications and what are the complications. Clinically we will see one scenario and then we will discuss. This 42 years old female from Telangana diagnosed case of idiopathic pancreatitis since last 6 years. Since last 2 years, repeated admissions in hospitals and twice transcutaneous celiac ganglion ablation was done. Once endosonographic celiac ganglion ablation was done, and every time early recurrence of the pain was there. Twice suicide attempts were done due to severe pain. Patient on pancreatic supplementation and antipsychotic medicine. Patient came with severe pain, dehydrated, lipase is almost 800 international unit. She was resuscitated, analgesics were given, but there was no pain alleviation. Epidural catheter was used to control pain for 5 days. Fifth day, the epidural catheter leaked and hence removed, started getting severe pain. So decision of sympathectomy was taken and the procedure was explained to the patient and relatives with full idea that this might also fail. The endoscopic approach, the patient was given a position with the head up, supine, with both the hands by the side of the body. So upper extremity abducted to 30-degree, patient propped up, telescope port 3 mm was inserted in fourth intercostal space, axillary fold, anterior axillary fold. The working port in the same line, second and sixth intercostal space were inserted. Only one 5 mm port and two 3 mm port were used. CO2 was kept pressure. The CO2 pressure was kept low at 8 millimeter of mercury. The procedure was done bilaterally. The location of the sympathetic chain was done after entering into the thoracic cavity. We could see the vertical fibers going perpendicular to the ribs and the intercostal vessels. You can see here that in the paravertebral gutter, the vertical chain is coming with its multiple ramifications, and that fine white fibers, they are the guide to identify the site and the location of the sympathetic chain. So the pleura over the sympathetic fibers was lifted. First, complete identification of the sympathetic chain was done. We will see where exactly this sympathetic chain is to be transacted when we see the discussion of the case. So we can see the complete length of the sympathetic fibers. The pleura over the fibers were lifted. Very little space we get for this dissection. Only 8 millimeter pressure is there, so that but still the lung keeps on coming in between while doing dissection. The fibers were lifted from the parietal wall. The ganglion was identified. Ganglion is a more tougher structure and it is more adherent to the peripheral tissues. Fibers can be easily lifted. So the fibers are lifted along with the ganglion and they are transected. So that completes the procedure. Hemostasis should be achieved completely. The patient's feedback was asked after 24 hours and she was satisfied with the pain. Now the patient was without any painkiller. So the patient feedback was good. Let us see how many days that patient remains pain free. So the management of pancreatic pain can be done by different ways. The percutaneous celiac nerve block, the celiac nerve blockade accompanied by the endoscopic sonography. Even radiation or chemotherapy may provide good relief in selected patients. The insertion of pain pumps and the narcotic medications. The endoscopic thoracic sympathectomy is a surgical procedure in which a portion of sympathetic nerve trunk in the thoracic region is destroyed. It can be done by open method or by the endoscopic method. Accessing the nerve tissue in the chest cavity by conventional surgical method was difficult, painful and spawned several different approaches in the past. The posterior approach was developed in 1908 and required resection of the ribs. A subclavicular approach was developed in 1935, which was less painful than the posterior but was more prone to damage delicate nerves and blood vessels. So the endoscopic approach, many a times this can be done as a office procedure. The endoscopic version of thoracic sympathectomy was pioneered by Goran Klies and Christer Drott in Sweden in late 1980s. The development of endoscopic minimally invasive surgical technique has decreased the recovery time from the surgery and it has increased the perfection of the procedure. Today, ETS surgery is practiced in many countries throughout the world predominantly by the vascular surgeon. Now, if we see the anatomy, the sympathetic chain and this is the celiac ganglion. This celiac ganglion is supplied by T5 to T12 sympathetic fibers. So the pancreatic part is supplied by the T5 and T6 and sometimes by T7. So we have to ablate the fibers going from these three ganglion if we want to go ahead with the pain treatment for the pancreatic pain. So this is the anatomy. So descending aorta is there, the phrenic nerve is there and the celiac ganglia, they are in the paravertebral gutter and we have to count the intercostal spaces and then we have to go in for the specific ablation of the fibers coming from those ganglion. The other indication for thoracic sympathectomy are focal hyperhidrosis, bromohidrosis, facial blushings, Raynaud's disease, the reflex sympathetic dystrophy and upper extremity Berger. There are various effects of sympathectomy. Sympathectomy works by disabling part of the autonomic nervous system and thereby disrupting its signals from the brain. Exact results of ETS are impossible to predict because of the considerable anatomic variation in the nerve function from one patient to the other. We can see the effects of sympathectomy. It distorts many bodily functions including sweating, vascular responses, that is the heart rate, heart stroke volume is controlled and even the thyroid function, the baroreflexes, the lung volume, pupil dilatation, skin temperature and other aspects of the autonomic nervous systems like essential flight to fright responses, they are also controlled by the autonomic nervous system. It reduces the physiological response to strong emotions such as fear and laughter, diminishes the body physical reactions to both pain and pleasure and inhibits the cutaneous sensations such as goosebumps. The normal risk of surgery such as bleeding infection is also here and conversion to open chest surgery should always be kept in the event of any eventuality. Several specific risks such as the pneumothorax, it can occur in 2% of the patient. Compensatory hyperhidrosis or reflux hyperhidrosis is common over long term, causing, according to one study, in 1 to 2% of the patients to regret having had the surgery. Corpusendiosis or split body syndrome, this is one of the a rare complication in which the patient feels that he or she is living in two separate bodies because the sympathetic nerve function has been divided into two distinct regions, one dead and the other hyperactive. These are the various references. Thank you very much.